The Red Wings are finally back, baby.
You're Locked On Red Wings, your daily podcast on the Detroit Red Wings. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
All right. Welcome back to the Locked On Red Wings podcast. I'm your host, Brian Fisher. With me today, as always, is Scotty Bentley, the other host here at Locked On Red Wings, and also host at Locked On Tigers. And Scotty, it's a good day.
It's a beautiful day. We got content, baby. What a beauty.
Content for days. Detroit Red Wings, all signs are pointing that they are going to finally retake the ice after, a solid 2 weeks off at this point. It was the last time they played was December 18th. It would be 13 days since their last hockey game. It may only be 13 days, but it's felt so much longer, and it's just such a relief that they're going to be back on the ice. Coming back, only missing Nick Leddy. He's the last one on COVID protocol. Everyone else is back that's not actually injured. Obviously, Troy Stecher, Mitchell Stevens, Jacob Vrana continue to be injured, but LCA on New Year's Eve.
Is Stecher still hurt?
Still hurt.
Okay, because I saw some weird stuff on the timeline about, I don't know, maybe it was rumors or rumbling that he was trying to get back to, or maybe it was just off COVID or something if he was on that list. I don't know. But I mean, we got a relatively about as healthy of a squad as we've had all year. So
yeah, pretty much.
We'll take it.
Well, first, gotta thank you guys for making us your first listen every day. We are free and available on all platforms,
free and
YouTube.
Available, including YouTube.
And they're gonna play the Washington Capitals, and for the first time in 13 days, we can do a game preview. And they've already beaten the Capitals once this season, 2-1 in overtime, thanks to the boy, Dylan Larkin. How are we feeling about this game, Scotty?
I mean, I'm just pumped to play some flipping hockey, man.
Nice
you know what I mean? I'm a pro these days. I mean, for real, I'm just happy to actually be playing some hockey at this point. Caps are a good team. We've played them really kind of interestingly in the past. I mean, we had the one game where Ovi didn't get off a single shot, which is mind-boggling. But we still lost that game, and then we've played them decently this season. But I mean they are clearly the superior roster. It's just I could really care less. I'm just happy to be playing.
Yeah, the two teams are 1-1 against each other so far this season. Red Wings beat them 3-2 in overtime. They came back from a 2-0 deficit, and then the Capitals came to Detroit and shut them out 2-0. That was not so much a beauty. I remember that being at the time you said it was probably the worst game of the season. And then they continued to lay more eggs down the road and got worse and worse. The Predators game, the Dallas game.
The Preds game, I still think that Preds game is the worst game of the season comfortably. That was horrific.
But so we know that these teams they compete with one another. It's close games either way. 2-0, 3-2. They are capable of holding Alex Ovechkin down. They've shown it in the past. Let's hope they can do it again. And in terms of Washington Capitals COVID situation, for the most part, they are pretty solid. The other day they got back Backstrom, Kuznetsov, Oshie, and Wilson, which are huge parts of their forward core. So they're looking like they're in a pretty solid position roster-wise. So are the Red Wings, all things considered. The only last player remaining on the Red Wings COVID list is Nick Leddy. Outside of that, it's Mitchell Stevens, Troy Stecher, and, of course, Jacob Vrana, who are injured. And Alex Nedeljkovic is going to be back in net. I have a feeling first game back at LCA on a New Year's Eve game. I expect LCA to be very packed tomorrow just because everyone's off tomorrow. No one's going to be at work except for me because I work where people go when nobody works. So I think the atmosphere is going to be perfect for a New Year's Eve victory.
And you're going to be there, baby.
I'll be there.
The boys will be buzzing, and Brian will be buzzing.
I got to support my my new best friend Jaff.
Jaff, baby. Good old Jaff. Yes, you do. Damn right.
I would expect that Alex Nedeljkovic would probably start net too for the Detroit Red Wings, as I
would imagine
he's just the starter now.
Yeah, he's the starter, and obviously we haven't played in almost 2 weeks. So I would assume the same thing. Honestly, at this point, if Greiss were to for some reason start, that would be a
shock,
a big thing. Yeah, that would be like a big deal. I fully expect that's the word. Ned to start. I mean, the first line's all intact. That's a beauty. That's the line that's been producing the most. So that's obviously great. And I mean, like, really most of everything, right? Like we're as healthy as we really have been sans Letty. So I like they should, they're rested. They're gonna be well rested. Hopefully they can go out there and compete. There's also the flip side, which is like, oh, we haven't played in 2 weeks. Maybe we'll be a little rusty, but the Caps have already played a game, right?
Yeah, they played on the 29th, and they won 5-3 against the Predators at home. So yeah, and they got a game today. They got a game today against the Detroit Red Wings. So yeah, that's where it gets
Detroit Red Wings.
The Detroit Red Wings. That gets interesting though, because of exactly what you said. Obviously, there's no momentum for the Red Wings. The last game that they played was 2 weeks ago. It was a great game. Dylan Larkin's first career hat trick. Bertuzzi had 2 goals, like a fantastic performance from the hockey team. There's no momentum from that. It was 2 weeks ago. Meanwhile, the Washington Capitals just got a win on the 29th against the Predators. So they do have some momentum coming into this game, coming into LCA, where they've already stolen a win so far this season. So they're first place in the Metropolitan Division. So, and I don't think anyone is thinking this, but by no stretch of the imagination is it going to be an easy win for the Detroit Red Wings. They're a scrappy team. They're a young team. We talked about this when we were talking about Jeff Blashill yesterday. This is a team that competes, and we've talked about all season. It's a team that competes with anyone on any given day. But they need to show up and be ready for the fact that their first is basically a season reset for them, all things considered. And the Caps have already played a game, and especially with Alex Ovechkin on the team, who's chasing a goal record, you cannot take them lightly under any circumstances. You have to go out there and, play like it's your cup final almost to get off on the right foot.
Yeah, big time. And I am really interested. I know this is kind of backpedaling. I am really interested to see how Ned does. I mean, he's been so used to, because he was kind of handed the one solid starter role. He's been used to playing so frequently. And now getting all that time off, it'll be interesting to see whether that's good or bad for him. But I mean, you could say that about the rest of the team too, but goalie's such a specific position to be able to hone in on like that. Really the biggest thing for me is just going to be how they play Ovi again. Cause I mean,
shut down,
right. Like they have, you know what I mean? Even in the loss, like they have shut down Ovi and have shown that that's a thing that they're capable of doing. So that's gonna have my eye most of the game. But you're assuming fresh legs. You're assuming everybody's gonna be amped and ready to go. I have no reason to believe that this is gonna be a poor performance. I mean, like I said, there's a chance that there might be a little bit of like shaking off the rust type of thing. But this is also a team that put up 5 or 6 goals on opening night in this season.
Lost.
So like, yeah, but so I don't know. It'll be again, really just glad that they're back.
Well, and one thing I do want to mention, you said that it'll, rest them up. And I think that actually is something that can't be understated for the rookies. They're not used to playing the NHL caliber full season length. So guys like Raymond, Seider, Nedeljkovic, this might have been a welcome, change of pace. Like get 2 weeks off, help mitigate the strain that is on their body. This could help them in the long run actually continue their hot seasons just by the fact that they're not getting worn down by the long 82-game season. But they had 2-week break right here in the middle of December when they were only supposed to have like 3 or 4 days. So I think that could help them. And then on the front of shutting down Ovi, with Nick Leddy out, that just opens the door for Dan Renouf to come in. And if Dan Renouf's out there, Ovi's not scoring a goal.
If Dan Renouf's out there, nobody's scoring a goal. It's over for the league. We've been over this. Greatest defenseman of all time.
How are the Oracle senses tingling?
They're in health and safety protocols.
I'm noticing the Oracle tingles have not been around lately.
We haven't played in 2 weeks, Brian.
I'm just saying.
I don't know what you want from me. We haven't played in 2 weeks. What am I going to Oracle? I'm going to Oracle people like getting put on health and safety. That's what I'm going to Oracle.
Yeah, sure. Do it.
Hopefully no one. That's a horrible thing to Oracle. I'm not oracling people getting sick. That's not happening.
Oh, man. Anyways, guys, Built Bar. It's the new year, so that means New Year's resolutions. If yours is about getting fit or eating healthier, make sure you include Built Bar in your plan. Built Bar is the protein bar that tastes like a candy bar, maybe even better than that candy bar.
Definitely.
Built Bar makes it easy to stick to your resolution because it tastes so good you'll want to eat it, unlike other protein bars that are chalky, waxy, or even taste like.
That's what came to my mind.
Just took the words right out of. He oracled the ad read. It tastes like a chemical spill.
Most of them are gross. Built Bar's not.
Built Bars are covered in 100% real chocolate. That's why they're not gross. That's why they're so sweet and delicious. Yet they only have 130 calories with 4 grams of sugar, 4 net carbs, and 17 grams of protein. Compare that to a candy bar, which usually has around 240 calories with 30 grams of sugar and dozens of net carbs. Even if you're not a huge fan of working out, you can at least eat something that tastes good and is good for you. That way, when you enjoy delicious Built Bar, you can almost count that as a workout itself. So go to Built.com, use promo code LOCKED15 to get 15% off your order. Again, that's promo code LOCKED15 for 15% off at Built.com. Oh, so good to have hockey back. So good to have hockey back on a New Year's Eve game, which, Scotty, means we got to do New Year's resolutions.
Have to.
New Year's resolutions are going to be just things that we want to see from the hockey team coming into the new year. I guess we're giving players and giving the team New Year's resolutions to do for us.
This is your New Year's resolution.
Yeah. We're volunteering you that you need to do this for us. They're not going to be like, we're going to try and steer away from like bold takes. We want to stay in the realm of realism, things that we could actually foresee happening with this hockey team and its individual parts that make it up. Scott, I don't know if you want to go first. You got New Year's resolution?
Yeah, we talked about it a little bit before we started recording. I think one of the ones that I would love to see is Larkin finishing the season with over a point a game.
Love it.
I think that would be very it would be a great sign for the fan base. It would be a great sign for the organization. And he's still so young. Like, people forget how young he still is. And with that building block as the team continues to get better and just knowing that, like, we have a 1C and then that debate of, what caliber of center he really is and to really solidify himself like that would just, even if we miss out on the playoffs, would just be such a big thing for this team going forward.
I mean, yeah, because he has been a player on this team, and that's such a good resolution too, because it's attainable for him this season, especially with his line mates. Yeah, that is something that Dylan Larkin is a player that the Red Wings have been trying to build around since he got drafted, since he made the team as a 19-year-old, which Lucas Raymond did as well. He is the guy that they want that to happen with, and he is finally showing that he is capable of it. We've seen flashes, then he would have a down year, and we've seen flashes, then he would have another down year. For once, like, this is like he's on pace for the best season he's ever had right now, and everything has come together for him, and it is something that is very much attainable. For me, my New Year's resolution is also about a forward. My New Year's resolution for the Detroit Red Wings would be Filip Zadina finally filling the back of the net on a consistent basis, because he's a guy that is polarizing. We mention it all the time. We had a whole episode dedicated to Filip Zadina and his slow start, and that a guy who has all the tools, who just can't seem to get it together. Now he's bumped down to the third line. Is Vlad Namestnikov having a career year, on pace for a career year at least, has replaced him on the second line. He's a guy who has all the tools but just can't seem to bring it together. And my New Year's resolution is him to bring it together and become that top 6 asset we need.
Yeah, no, that's obviously a great one. And if you're ever like struggling for Twitter interactions and really just want like a bunch of likes and retweets and replies, just tweet anything. Good, bad, middle of the road, literally anything about Filip Zadina.
Is a hockey player.
Right.
What did you just say?
Literally. I mean, like it's remarkable how polarizing he is within the fan base and everyone's opinion of him and such. And that would be the thing is with that one is not only would it just be great because we drafted him high and whatever, but that would the entire outlook of the team going forward changes immensely if he can figure it out. And we can hope.
Yeah. You have any others? You got another one?
I think, I mean, like the easy-ish one would just be like, I would love to make the playoffs.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Well, and
like,
you know what? And we're trying to make New Year's resolutions that stay in the realm of realism. Right now, that is in the realm of realism. That's huge.
I'm just saying. Like
we ball.
We ball. It would it's been so long. It's been the city's last playoff team was the Pistons, what, 4 years ago now? 4 seasons ago?
2019, I think it was, when they made it and got swept by the Bucks.
I was at game 3. 4?
I'm sorry about that.
3 or 4? I was at the game where the crowd started chanting, "Refs, you suck," and Blake Griffin started chanting with us. Whatever game that was. I was in the crowd for that game. It was a blast. That's so like it's been a long road for the Wings. It's been a long road for the city. Every team has bottomed out over the last 5 years. We're trying to claw back into contention, but it would just be nice. And there's no reason for anyone to care about the draft pick anymore. Like we're too we're at this point in the season, if you're still like, oh, we need to, like, that's ridiculous. We're too high up in the standings at this point. We're too far up. We're too deep into this at this point in the year to really care about the draft pick at this point. So I know it's a lottery sport, whatever, blah, blah, blah. I don't really care. Like I would much rather take a first round exit at this point than like a 0.5% chance of getting the first overall pick.
Well, and pretty soon here, shortly, we're going to have a conversation of buying or selling at the trade deadline. That is an episode of conversation that's going to be coming up here soon because coming into the season and throughout the first couple months, I mean, I've said this team is, not a playoff team. And, I still think in the end they'll fall just outside that playoff range, but they are slowly swaying my opinion on that. And we're getting close to the trade deadline. Like, do you sell when you're this close to being competitor, but do you buy when you still have key pieces you're missing? Like it's definitely a good conversation to have. My other New Year's resolution would be for them to improve their road record because they're stellar at home, but horrible on the road. And that plays into the whole, they need to be a playoff team. If they need to be a playoff team, they have to start winning on the road as well. Your best hockey teams in the league win on the road as well. Most hockey teams in the league, actually, almost all of them have a better home record than a road record, but your best hockey teams in the league also have pretty solid, at least decent road records. Red Wings' road record is abysmal. And if they want to be a competitive hockey team that
the next step
makes the playoffs, you got to win on the road.
It's the next step for development for sure. Yeah, absolutely.
Any final ones or you got?
Yeah, I got one more.
Gotcha.
It's Giovanni Smith more minutes.
Well, if Filip Zadina doesn't complete my New Year's resolution, it's quite possible that he does.
Giovanni Smith, as many minutes as possible. That's the dog.
All right. Got to talk to you guys about BetOnline. BetOnline has you covered this holiday season with more props, odds, and lines than ever before as football continues its march through the college bowl season as Michigan State wins the Peach Bowl on a pick six.
What a game.
Well, it was a really good game, especially that the ending was fire. And pro football playoffs. BetOnline remains your number one spot for all the sports action this season. Head to the website or use your mobile device to sign up today and receive your 50% welcome bonus on your first deposit. Just use their promo code LOCKEDON to receive your bonus from basketball, football, NHL, boxing, and UFC. right to your favorite Vegas casino games. Don't wait to take advantage of all the amazing offers for the 2021 season. BetOnline is the fastest and easiest way to bet on all your favorite sports. BetOnline, where the game starts. Final segment of the Friday edition of the Locked On Red Wings. We haven't done this in a while. We have been having a lot to talk about every single day of the week. We are mid-season, but because of the state of the Red Wings just finally getting back to it, we can finally do a How Do You Feel About It Friday. It's been a long time since we've done it. And Scotty, I got one right off the bat for you. How do you feel about this sweatshirt I'm wearing?
I love it. Are there people that don't? Oh, wait, what the hell? There's no T. What the hell? Wait a minute. The Detroit. I didn't even realize. What happened? Is there a story? Or is it just old?
No, it's brand new. I'm just a huge fan of the Detroit Red Wings. I got it out of the damage bin at work.
I mean, that's kind of heat, honestly.
No, there was. You
can label it as vintage. Just be like, yeah, this vintage.
It's got the faded winged wheel on the side, so you could.
I messed with it. I actually like it.
You're like, there are people who don't. Wait, what? Well, and there were two in the damage bin at work, and so one was missing the T, and the other one was missing the I in Detroit. So the other one was Det Rot. So we had D. Roy Red Wings and Det Rot.
I think
it rolls off the tongue better.
Yeah, D-Royd is better.
I picked it. So I just wanted to get your opinion on that. If you guys want to see my Detroit Red Wings sweatshirt, make sure you check out our YouTube page. Locked On Red Wings.
It's a sweet sweatshirt. How do you feel about mine?
Nice. Could do without the Lions logo, but other than that,
I got it at Ford Field.
Oh wow, slight flex there.
I mean, like years ago. Okay, Happy New Year's Eve, Brian.
Thank you. Happy New Year's Eve.
How do you feel about Michigan versus Georgia?
Oh. And how do I feel about...
My mouse is hovering over the leave call button. You better not mess this up.
So how do I feel about the outcome of the game, or how do I feel about the game in general?
Yes.
Okay. So the game in general, I am pumped for the fact that a Big Ten team is representing, and that it's Michigan at that. Michigan. That is incredible. There's an argument to be made that Michigan should have been, one seed, but
there is.
And SEC has had a terrible track record in bowl seasons this year, but I cannot guarantee, I cannot oracle a win over Georgia, because that is a hell of a matchup.
It is.
Georgia is, right beneath Alabama as the, best SEC team in college football. And it's going to be a tough one for Michigan. Not saying they can't do it. I mean, they got Aiden Hutchinson on their side, but
Big A, baby.
It's going to be a tough one.
It is. No, it is. And I'm very nervous for it. I'm terrified. But we're going to, after the game's over, whether they are celebratory ginger ales or coping ginger ales, we're going to have a fun night after the game regardless, and go into the new year with our heads high.
How do you feel about Moritz Seider spending Christmas with Dylan Larkin?
I mean, I love it. Lucas Raymond's got to be a little salty, but I absolutely love it.
Well, the boy had COVID. He was outside on the other side of the window knocking, like, let me in. Let me in. You ever see the Eric Andre show?
Yeah. Let me in. Let me in.
Lucas Raymond on the outside of the house. Friendship with Moritz Seider ended. Dylan Larkin is my new best friend.
The memes that Red Wings Twitter was coming up with for that were hilarious. There was one. I forget who tweeted it. I hate not giving people credit, but somebody tweeted like a picture of like some marriage got broken up due to a cheater, and they had like a big sign on their door that said "Welcome home, cheater." Somebody's like Raymond when Seider comes home or whatever. So funny.
Yeah.
How do you feel about the year 2022, Brian?
It's coming at me fast, man. I see the year 2020 in like logs, like my chat log, for example, of my group chat. I'll see the year 2020 and I'll be like, oh, this was earlier this year. And I like click, like, no, dumbass, it's 2021. And that means it's like, oh, in one day, it's going to be 2022. Like Smash Mouth said, the years really do start coming and they don't stop coming.
And then you hit the ground running.
That's what I did. Absolutely. Hit the ground running.
It's just like we're all still trying to cope with like early 2020 stuff and like trying to process it. And now it's 2022.
The year paused, or the world paused for a year.
Yeah.
Like everything stopped except for, my life expectancy.
For real. Jeez.
I probably shortened it because of the pandemic in more ways than one.
Yeah, seriously.
So I finished King of the Hill.
Okay.
And I moved on to a new show because I in the morning when I'm getting ready for work, I like to put on a show and watch a couple episodes.
I do the same thing. Yeah.
I've moved on to Arrested Development now.
Interesting. Okay. So I have not watched, but I have a lot of friends who have watched it. My sister loves it.
Yeah, it's really strange because I didn't know how old the show was. And Michael Cera's in it. And Michael Cera's that actor who always looks like a child, no matter how old he is.
And plays like the same role in every single movie.
The awkward teenager.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so I was like, this is Michael Cera. And I just assumed it was like actual like 30-year-old Michael Cera, like it always is. No, he was a legit teenager in Arrested Development.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And it's like, oh, wow, I'm actually watching Michael Cera act his age. Like this is him. No, but the show's hilarious. David Cross is hilarious in it. It's got Will Arnett in it, who also more recently played BoJack Horseman. I think he played Batman in the Lego movies.
You like BoJack?
Oh, I love BoJack Horseman.
Love BoJack.
Great show.
Great show. I get a lot of heat for this. I'm a big like adult cartoon guy. That's one of my favorite genres. Yeah.
Bro, don't even get me started.
I'm deep in the game.
Don't even get me started. We'll be here all night.
I love it. That makes me happy. No, that's a show that, again, like Arrested Development, like I've seen, like obviously I know of it. It was huge when it was on, and I've seen a couple of episodes here and there, and I know like the premise and stuff, but I've never watched. But I don't know. Maybe I'll have to jump on the train so we can talk about it. To give you a frame of reference, when this show started airing, it is so old that it predates flip cell phones. Oh, wow. So it was on for a minute then, eh?
Yeah. So it was, how cell phones went through that evolution. It was really big. Then they got like tiny. It's about like this big, but they were like little pocket.
Right, yeah. And then they got bigger phones. Again, yeah.
But then they became flip phones. And that was all the rage. And everyone had a flip phone. And then iPhones became a thing. This predates flip phones. They're all like the Nokia, like
right, yeah, like the
phones,
tiny little
like the little brick. That the show season 1, all of that. It's crazy. Like you see that, and it's
crazy.
Like it just it shows its age when it does that.
Sure.
Any final? How do you feel about it? Or
no final? How do you feel about it? But it's finally game day.
Game day, baby.
Go blue, baby. Go blue. If they lose, which they won't, but if they do, go blue will no longer be my final words until next season. If they win, I am going to be a problem. An absolute problem.
Well, the game kicks off at the same time puck drop.
You're right.
That is a horrible problem.
I got two screens. I got two phones, one for the vlog, one for the load, all right?
I was about to say this was a problem, but during the Big Ten championship game, there was also another game that was happening at LCA that day. I can't remember if it was Pistons or Wings. But so we have the big screen behind the register, and then we have like TV spread throughout. Whoever was in command, like in the command center, put the Big Ten championship game on all the TVs that were throughout the building and just left the Wings game on the big ones. Like somebody knew. Somebody knew what they're doing. So I fully expect that college football playoff game to be on the TVs around the arena while like the Wings game is on the Jumbotron screens. They better be.
They better be.
And you know what else better be? You guys heading over to Locked On Bets, make them your second listen every day with expert analysis and insight from Lee Sterling. And it's hosted by your boy Q. It's free and available on all platforms. We will be back with, oh my God, Scotty, 2 game recaps
on
Monday.
Thank goodness.
We're back. We are back.
We ball.
We absolutely ball.
In case people forgot, we still ball.
I can understand why they forgot because there's those 13 days, but
I don't
ball.
understand how anyone would ever forget that we ball.
We absolutely do.
You best know.
Same time, same place. It's your team. Every day.